All right, what's going on, guys? So first of all, the question might be, why? Like, why respond? Because, look, in all honesty, it's fun, right? It really is. Now, there's nothing um, about it that, if I'm honest, do I want these people to kind of understand? Yes, I honestly want people to listen to themselves. I do. And then listen to me just pick it apart. Not because I want to be mean, not because I'm a bad person, but because I think it's for the greater good. Okay, so I'm gonna call him Bad Brad. All right. Now I've done about 2 or 3 videos where I use Brad as an example, right? And Brad is a YouTuber, and I was actually subscribed to Brad for something else, and then he just one day came out being a big Trump supporter. He started doing certain videos that were very questionable, and then over time, I saw the unraveling of an individual who was almost my guinea pig, because it was like the unraveling of an individual who just became warped into this alt-right movement, and he's just really in the trenches with that movement right now. And you could hear it in the things he says. You can tell where he gets his news just from the language he uses. He's very vague on certain topics because he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'm going to prove here. I'm just going to play the first 3 or 4 minutes of it, and so I can kind of pick apart what he's saying. All right, so let's go ahead and get this started here.
Going motherfuckers. So I received a couple requests. People are tired of the wrestling things already. And this is what I said a while back. Just let me do my videos, and we'll get to the wrestling and all that. But anyway, so let's talk about the ban, the supposed Muslim ban that many people are talking about, when it really isn't a Muslim ban, because if it was a Muslim ban, all the Islamic countries, which would be pretty much most of the Middle East, would be banned. And in fact, what's really funny about this list of countries that are a part of the travel ban that Donald Trump issued, it's really funny to note that this was actually a list that not Trump didn't compile. It was a list that Obama actually compiled, but he was just too wimpy to really enforce it. Also, something very interesting to note that is in 2011, Obama restricted travel from Iraq.
So let's kind of stop it there, right? So number one, clearly Breitbart, Daily Caller, I mean, pretty clear. But nonetheless, before we continue, this is an individual who has done videos saying that Islam is not a religion, it's an ideology. This is an individual who, when Trump called for a total ban on all Muslims, it's what he said, did videos saying he was all for it. All right. It's kind of strange that he's not condemning maybe Trump for not banning all Muslim countries. It's kind of strange, you know. This is also an individual who has been quoted in saying, not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslim. I just want that for the record, and there is evidence of that. I do have those clips of him saying that. Um, Also, yes, it is true that there was some restrictions that the Obama administration put on travel, but it was not on people with legal visas. Number one, and it was just it required strong vetting. What it didn't do is stop, I don't know, 9-year-olds from coming to this country because they needed heart surgery, for example. It didn't stop someone from seeing a dying mother, because there was just this Muslim ban that was put in place. And just because it's not called Muslim ban doesn't mean it's not meant to block Muslims from coming in. It just so happens to be targeting Muslims. Also, Trump has been quoted in saying that he will be vetting strongly but favor Christian refugees over Muslim refugees. Religion test. That's against the First Amendment, right? That is in the Constitution. It's against the Constitution that I didn't write it. It's a Constitution that's been there for a while, right? Um, with that said, let's go ahead and proceed. Oh, by the way, it just so happens that the Muslim countries that weren't banned are where Donald Trump does a lot of business, right?
It's really interesting. Nobody from Iraq was allowed to fucking travel to the U.S. But somehow there was no outrage. There was no protest. Very interesting. So we had a couple of people that were held at JFK, and they had visas. So there was a whole big hoopla.
To that, notice how they try to do the whole, well, where was the outrage when Obama did it, right? Well, where was your support then? If it's something that supposedly liberals should have been outraged about. I mean, look, I've been outraged about a lot of things regarding Obama, right? So it is speaking to me. And yes, there are hypocritical, Obama supporters out there that are very loyal to him, and Obama could do no wrong. Okay, kind of reminds me of Trump supporters that don't think Trump could do no wrong. Brett, but where was the praise then? I mean, shouldn't have at least some conservatives been out there praising Obama for this supposedly because he did the quote unquote the same thing? Interesting.
About this, a lot of controversy. Because they were like, oh, well, these people have visas. Okay, but we have a travel ban at the moment. We're right now, we have a lot of trouble around the world. You look at Germany, you look at Belgium, you look at the UK, you look at Sweden, and you see that we're having a big problem with refugees. See,
so let's kind of stop it there for a moment, okay? Let's dissect this. All right, so number one, notice how he just rubs it off like it's nothing, right? Oh, they just so happen to be a couple of individuals that couldn't get in with their visas. But we had a travel ban. Hey, those executive order, it's a travel ban. Too bad. You have people that work out of the country but live here that can't come back. You have people who lost contact with their families. You have people that are stuck in countries that are hostile to them because they were actually doing stuff for the United States, like translators, okay, that worked with our troops. And they're pretty much, open season over there. You have there was a story of a little girl who needed heart surgery who couldn't come in because of a fucking travel ban. Yeah, I'm sure that little girl with a heart problem was a very big threat to the United States. And then he goes off about the problem with refugees. Okay, look, a refugee doesn't have a visa, you fucking moron. Since when do refugees have a legal visa to either work or live here or visit here? Since when? I don't know refugees walk around with a legal visa. If they have a visa, right, there's a vetting process for that. Okay? Shit's stupid. You kidding me? Let's continue.
You can really consider this not, if you want to really talk about a group, if you don't really feel like saying travel ban, and it's not a Muslim ban, but you could say it is sort of a refugee ban, and that really is what it is. And
so it's not a Muslim ban, but it's a refugee ban? So most of the people affected by it, a vast majority are Muslim, right? But you say it's not a Muslim ban. Virtually no one who's a refugee was affected by this ban immediately. It was people with legal visas, but it's a refugee ban. I mean, what level? Oh my God. I'm getting a migraine right now. I swear to God. I like how he just threw in like, oh, look at Germany and look all the European countries. Like, oh, look, Germany and UK and look at all them and all the refugees and all the problems they cause. Yeah, because only refugees commit crimes in the entire world. Right. Okay, let's continue.
If you ask President Trump, he'd probably agree with you. Yeah, it's a refugee ban because that's exactly, as he explained, that's what it's for. So that is.
Yeah, that's what he told idiots like you it is. And then here you are buying it like a dumbass, right? I mean, you guys are a bunch of pussies, man. I mean, you guys were all, when he said Muslim ban, you guys were like, fuck yeah, fuck Islam. And it's not a religion, it's a political ideology, and all Islam should be banned from this country. Look at the mosque and spy on the mosque and spy on the Muslims and get them the hell out of here. Now you're being a bunch of pussies because president's being a little pussy and isn't really doing what he was claiming he was going to do, puffing out his chest and shit. And now you guys are, you're playing semantics. No, but it's not a Muslim ban. Yeah, the guys with the visas couldn't come in, but it's the refugee ban.
We don't want refugees right now traveling into this country because all around the world they're fucking shit up. I mean, every single time there is a huge, massive massacre.
The only time there's a massacre, okay, wait for it.
Like the one that just occurred in Germany that I did the video on the fucking Christmas marketplace. A fucking refugee just fucking plowed through a fucking Christmas market because, well, he didn't like fucking Christmas and he didn't like infidels. So if you want that shit to happen here in the U.S., then by all means, protest the travel ban.
Yeah. Look. Nobody's saying that there's no refugees that have done some harm to people. I mean, obviously. And I'm not even suggesting that we shouldn't vet refugees. We should, right? And make no mistake about it, the United States vetting is it's stronger, right? It's a lot more strict than the European countries. Far more strict. In fact, some of them are way too lenient for my liking. They should be a little more strict with their vetting, right? And they should kind of plan this out a little bit, right? Like give them jobs or something to do. I understand that the process isn't perfect, but make no mistake about it. Let's not act like Europe and the United States is just innocent in all this, and we're just out of just because of the kindness of our heart, looking at the refugees from a distance and saying, okay, let them in. No. We've been bombing the shit out of these countries. Now, the United States leading the way, by the way, right? And some European countries have assisted in the process, but the U.S. is leading the way. We're the most responsible by far, right? And we're causing this crisis. We're the ones toppling dictators. We're the one doing these bombings, leaving them without homes, leaving their countries in chaos. So to say that we don't have some responsibility, right, to deal with these refugees is insane, right? But that's a topic of nuance that this individual is not capable of. So I don't even know why I'm trying that hard. All right, let's continue.
It's fucking retarded. And first of all, if you want to hear something that's even more retarded, something even more
retarded, right? He's talking about retarded. I love it. Like, oh yeah, you know what's retarded? Like, you're retarded, motherfucker.
Something even more counterproductive because all these protests have been super.
Let's see if he actually used, like he said, I'm gonna say something counterproductive. Like, I want to know if he actually like uses the actual definition of it and really explains something counterproductive, or if it's just a word he's just saying because he reads it a lot on Breitbart.
Counterproductive. We've heard about this, every single time. Liberals always, put their foots in their mouths. This is what they've been known for doing, and they're going off the rails all the fucking time as of late. So there's a JFK. They held some people there. You had a federal judge trying to, overturn.
What's counterproductive? I mean, Jesus Christ.
And supersede President Trump's executive order. But people didn't, actually the officials at the airport just didn't listen to the fucking judge and they continue to hold these people, which I think is fucking awesome, because that judge should not be allowed to rule. And see, this is exactly what the new confirmation of our new...
Wait, what? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. First of all, he never explained what's counterproductive, by the way. A judge going against executive orders, counterproductive? Or what? Like what? Oh, can you explain why? What? But here's the thing, right? You know what's counterproductive? Banning people from countries that have never done harm to Americans, while not banning countries that have done harm to Americans that Donald Trump does business in, right? You don't ban those countries. That's counterproductive, right? Because you're not really solving the problem. Okay, and it's also counterproductive because all you're doing is enraging more Muslims. Now, I'm not saying that, just because there's a travel ban, that easily radicalizes Muslims. No. What I'm saying is, in countries that have this much of chaos, really, because of us, if we're honest, right? If just 0.1% of those Muslims say, you know what, fuck these imperial powers, fuck these quote-unquote empires, okay, fuck, the United States and these countries, they've done nothing but bomb us, so fuck them, I'm going to go ahead and join ISIS so I can at least fight these motherfuckers. If just 0.1% of Muslims around the world say that, out of 1 billion Muslims, that's 10 million people. Do you really want that many people as an enemy or what? So that's why this is counterproductive. Now, I just use the term counterproductive, accurately. I didn't just say the fucking word. Now, regarding the judge, all right? Well, I'm glad that the judge, that the federal government didn't listen to him, even though the attorney general did, but Trump fired the attorney general, but I'm not even going to fucking say that because this fucking fascist president, all right, fired the active attorney general who was approved by a Republican Congress, by the way. Easily confirmed. I don't know, the attorney general needs to bow to a fucking knee to the president of the United States. Right? Don't worry. Jeff Sessions will do that for you. All right, but the judge didn't make a law. He simply found this executive order unconstitutional. That's it. And it is unconstitutional. Right? In fact, Donald Trump went out of his way to make sure it couldn't be found unconstitutional, just like Rudy Giuliani went on Fox News and said, Trump asked me how I could do a Muslim ban without making it unconstitutional. So how do you do it? Well, you happen to ban countries, say it's for terrorist reasons, and they all just happen to be primarily Muslim countries, right? That's how you do it. You see, it's not that complicated, is it? This judge didn't make a law, you fucking retard. Over here using the word retard and using terms and never getting to the point because you don't know what the fuck that term means, right? Oh man, hold on. Man, I'm getting a migraine again. Holy shit. So look, Donald Trump can't make a law, you fucking idiots. That's not what an executive order is, all right? So it's not like he made it law, like, oh, he made it law. Like this same idiot was once saying that 2 videos ago that he made the pipelines law. Like, what? That's not a law, right? So this is not a law. So it's not like the judge has to follow the law. No. Has it been passed by Congress? No. Has it been passed by the Senate? No. It's not a law on the books. It's an executive order, right, that Trump put for supposedly safety reasons. That's what he's citing. But he's keeping people with legal visas from coming in just because they're from a certain country. So in other words, if you're from Iran and you came to this country, let's say, I don't know, 20 years ago, right? And you happen to still be a citizen of Iran, still on the record. But you became naturalized here in the U.S. or just have had a visa for a long time, green card, whatever, right? But you happen to work, like let's say you go to Canada to work or to Europe to work. And then, you just decide, I just want to go back home because I live in the United States. That's where my family is. Those people are not allowed to go back home. It's a refugee ban. Shut the fuck up. Man, these people are idiots. Why do they make it so easy? Like, you know, anyway. So that's as much as I'm gonna play. Then he goes off and talks about, he goes on a tangent about the new Supreme Court justice and how Trump is picking people that follow the law. Like, yeah, he's picking people that are gonna suck his dick, right? Yes, Trump. Yes, Trump. Whatever you say. Yes, Trump. I'm on my knees for you, Trump. Yes, just like you, Brad. You like getting on your knees for Trump, don't you? You're like, man, dude, like, just get off the guy already, right? I mean, for God's sakes, can you just say one critical thing about Trump? Like, you got nothing critical to say? Like, nothing? You got nothing. Surprised me about a lot of these Trump supporters. They got nothing critical to say about the guy. Nothing. Right? And here they are, you know, supporting this man. You know, and then they don't say shit about, well, why do you motherfuckers say anything about Saudi Arabia? Me. Now, who's your daddy? Yeah, the Saudis are your daddy. All right? That's what Trump answers to, apparently. Right? You got the Saudis with one string with the right hand. You got Putin over here with another string. Okay, and then you got oh man, what's that dude's name, man? Um, uh, let's see. Let me look it up really quick. I forgot the guy's name, man. I don't know, man. I forgot the guy's name, man. Shit. He's on his security council. The fucking name slipped my mind, right? The name honestly slipped my mind. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Bear with me, because Putin has the string on the right hand, right? The Saudis have the string on the fucking left hand. And you want to know who has like their hand up Trump's asshole, okay, all the way to his fucking mouth, okay, controlling that fucking puppet? Now, I'm gonna tell you right now who's doing this shit. Let me see this shit. I was gonna say it's not Jeff Sessions. It's a fucking attorney general. Well, I look for that. You know what? One of the strangest things, man, about these people is they really are authoritarian, right? I mean, and look, there's authoritarians on the other side too. I mean, there's some dudes that Obama could do absolutely no wrong, right? There's nothing Obama could do, okay, whatsoever, and they'll support this guy literally no matter what, and it's scary. I mean, people like this are extremely scary, man, right? Steve Bannon, that's right, man. Steve Bannon has your boy in control, man. I mean, that motherfucker. He's got your boy. I mean, he's puppeteering that motherfucker, right? I'm trying to figure out whether it's Putin or him, man. Like, who's controlling this motherfucker more? You know, something I wonder, like, if they got something on Trump too, because Trump, I mean, that motherfucker has. I mean, he has switched so many positions in a matter of 4 years. It's amazing. It honestly is. I never seen someone in their late 60s or you know, yeah, late 60s say they're pro-choice no matter what, and then all of a sudden, just because, you know, black dude became president, you know, all of a sudden he was pro-life. You know, I never seen that before. I just haven't. Okay. Shit's insane, man. What can you do? By the way, speaking of terror activity, very good update. The Canadian Prime Minister and, you know, the government of Canada really pressured Fox News, right, to take down the tweet saying that it was a Muslim that shot up the mosque in Canada. And they forced him to take down the tweet and to apologize, which is something that even the Obama administration couldn't do for 8 years. But with all the misinformation that the motherfuckers put out, right? It's just interesting to me that Fox News and Donald Trump is just very quiet about the terror attack that happened in Quebec. In fact, this individual here is pretty quiet about that too. I mean, I thought only Muslims do terrorist activity. So I don't know. I just want people to maybe mention it. It happened. Hey, just a quick correction. I said 6 individuals were injured. I believe it was actually 19. There was actually more injuries than initially reported. So for what it's worth. All right. Well, that's it. This is D-Style. I'm out.